So find a comfortable seat to let go of any feelings of sluggishness, any feelings of negativity. And breathing instead into your body, life force energy. As you exhale, just feel that grounding sensation through your tailbone and through your sitting bone. So an opportunity as always just to take stock and scan your body. An opportunity to ask yourself how you're feeling mentally, emotionally and spiritually. An opportunity, in other words, to become that little bit more self-aware. And so as you blink open your eyes and let what hopefully is a sunny day wherever you are flood in, inhale, reach up high and grab hold of your right wrist with your left palm. And just take a side stretch, grounding through your right sitting bone, breathing via your right armpit towards your hip. Really solidly weight down the seat. And then change wrists and just take that same stretch into the left side of your body and ground your left sitting bone a little bit more fully into the mat. Now bring your hands behind you, interlock your fingers there, and as you do, just lift your knuckles high as you can behind the back of your head. And then just take a little twist towards the right, keeping your sitting bones where they are, grounded, not coming with you. And try to keep lifting the knuckles and opening the chest. Keep the knuckles high, come back to the center, and then twist to the left. And then come back to the midline and bring your fists to the left of your waist. Squeeze your palms together, elbows together, triceps. Really wedge your fist into the side body. And then just keep wedging your fist into the side waist as you lean your head back over your left shoulder towards your left shoulder blade. Just slightly steering your chin to the right. Breathe right into those nooks and crannies that feel tight. Maybe just feeling that stretch in the right side of your neck, upper traps. And then just change position, bring your fist to the right of your waist, squeeze your palms together. Slightly incline your head over your shoulder towards the shoulder blades, and not just sinking it to the side, but slightly back, and your chin subtly moving over to the left. And again, just let your shoulders soften. Come back to the midline, release your fingers from their bind and bring your hands out in front of you, wider than shoulder width. Take a deep breath in. Let's do a lion's roar to get rid of any frustration and stagnant energy from the base of your lungs. Another one, inhale and roar out the breath. Try to touch the tip of your chin with your tongue. One last one, make it a good one. Lovely jubbly. Now walk your hands forwards and slightly wider apart. Ground your seat. That got the frog going. Breathe steady, breathe deep. And again, you want to really keep your feet active as you humbly bow both head and heart towards the floor. And then just stay low and tread your left arm underneath your right armpit if you can. Sink your shoulders to the floor and let the weight of your head hang out there in space. Peering underneath your armpit, keep creeping your right fingertips as forward as far as possible. And keep sinking your left shoulder down. Breathe into whatever feelings and sensations are there. Now extract your left arm and bring your left arm to frame the side of your face. Same thing, second side, slide the arm underneath the armpit. Let the weight of your head be heavy, the side of your shoulder. Just let everything sink once again down to the ground. Hi Lucy. Walk the left fingertips forwards, ground your seat a bit more. See if you can keep twisting and turning and breathing into whatever's there. Extracting the arm, reframing both ears and bowing your head humbly once again towards the ground. Maybe after your twist, perhaps enabling you to come a little bit deeper into your forward bend physically, but not a deal breaker if you've already found your edge in the shape. Now tuck your chin in and curl your way back up through the vertebrae, one bone at a time. Can the legs and take the opposite shin in front for a moment or 3. And once you've got yourself perched right back on the top of your sitting bones, place your fingertips adrift of your hips. See if you can pull up really tall through the length of your spine. Another little stretch for the neck. Reach up high with the left hand. Reach for the hold your hand to the ear and just not forcing the stretch here, but just beginning to incline your head to the left shoulder girdle this time, and then floating your right fingertips off the floor. Just let your right arm float, and then lift your fingertips towards the ceiling and turn your fingertips towards the floor. Let's raise your fingertips, inhaling and exhaling, release to rest. Inhale and exhale. Circle your wrist and just ease into the side of your neck for a few breaths more. Circle your wrist in both directions, flow through your fingers. Keep leaning over to your left with the help of your hand, adding more weight to the head. And then just stretch out through the palm of your hand and draw that stretch a little bit more into your right side of your neck and upper traps. Nice strong arm, as if you're pushing the far wall away from you. Fan out the fingers, dome your palm. Lower your fingertips slightly behind your hip and slip your left hand to the right. Lower your chin to the left of your chest and gaze down towards your inner left thigh. Creeping your right fingertips behind you and just looking for that sweet spot where the stretch begins to manifest itself in the right side of your neck and your right upper portion of your trapezius muscles again. Maybe you want to float your fingertips off the floor and just send a little charge of energy as they float in space, slightly shy of the mat. And then just release and fully upright the spine as you bring both hands either side of your hips. Take a moment to pause in the rebound and draw up tall through the spine. And then reach up to the heavens with your right hand this time. Get a real sense of up reach. And then place the hand onto the side of your face. Lean slightly over to the right. Keep creeping your left fingertips away. And send a little charge once again energetically into that left arm as you begin to float the arm parallel to the floor. And once your arm comes to that optimum point, inhale and turn your fingertips, spread them wide. Exhale and turn your fingertips down. Just work the wrist, inhaling, fan out the fingers. Exhale, lower the fingertips. Inhale and exhale. One more the same, inhale, spread the fingers and exhale. Then just circle your left wrist, keep leaning into gravity, right side of your head drop into the shoulder. That traction with the side of the neck, upper trapezius, all the time just moving that left hand in both directions. And then finally filling that motion and just beginning to really strongly activate that left arm and push away with the palm of your hand that far wall. Try to dome your palm, stretch out your fingers all the way to the tips of your fingers, feel that stretch into the roots of your fingers and thumb. And then transition your hand to the left of the back of your head and your left hand to the left of the back of your hip, and just bow your head to the right side of your chest this time. So again, you might want to creep the fingertips further away. You might want to float them a centimetre or 3 above the floor, but just find again that point where you can get the stretch that you're looking for and release some of the tension in your left side of your neck and upper back. Finally, from there, bring both hands to cradle the back of your head and both thumbs to frame the side of your neck. And then just try to press your thumbs against the base of your skull, sides of your neck, and lengthen the back of your neck. As you lift your breastbone, lift your gaze towards the sky. Feel the fibers of your front body stretching out, wing the elbows wide. And then exhale, gather your belly to your spine, arch your back, and try to squeeze your elbow points together. Inhale, lean against your hands, keep the neck nice and long, lift your gaze through navel, heart and eyes. Exhale again, hollow out the belly, scoop up your vital organs, lift them into your ribs. Deep breath in. Exhale. exhale, shoulder blades slide apart. Try to get the elbows to squish together. Inhale, come to a neutral spine whereby your head is in line with the rest of your spine rather than leaning back. Now just lean over to the right, wing the left elbow towards the ceiling and hang out there, leaning your head into your palms, sinking your right elbow towards the floor. Keep the head supported, neck supported. Inhale, rise up again. Exhale, second side stretch, coming to the opposite side, drawing the elbows back. Yourself coming back to the midline, releasing your fingers and popping them like two little wigwams in front of your thighs, knees, I should say. Take a deep breath in. Imagine dragging your fingers to your shins. We'll sweep up the lion's breath, and as you really do feel that you've got enough frustration to breathe out, in which case go ahead. No one's in here, it's your practice, not mine. Breathe steady, breathe deep. Inhale, and then exhale everything, whether you're practicing the lion's roar or whether you're just expelling the breath. Feel the pelvic floor lift and the belly cave at the bottom of the exhale. Keep working with the feet flexed, so you keep that pressure out of the knees and the ankles. Take a few more breaths there and just acknowledge whatever feelings and sensations come and go. So tuck in your chin, creep your hands back in and find yourself back sitting before bringing yourself onto your fours. When you do come onto all fours, get yourself on your elbows rather than on your wrists. And bringing your elbows so that your elbows are underneath your shoulders and your forearms are running parallel with the two outer edges of your mat. Let your head hang and press down your elbows and just let your neck be tractioned by the weight of your head as you peer back between your knees. So lift the sitting bones and let the front of your chest drop down towards the floor, your belly flop down towards the mat. Just feel as if all of your internal organs are just falling to the front wall of your body. Now do the polar opposite of that. Lift your front body towards the back, tuck under your toes, lift your knees and take a forearm dog, pressing firmly into the elbows, the forearms, the palms of your hands, the stalks of your fingers and thumbs. Rise your shoulder blades apart. Nod your head as if you're ringing the school bell, not so that the little bell thing falls out, so something that feels useful for the neck, but your head's not going to end up falling off. And then look underneath your right armpit and imagine you're going to turn your head like a zombie film through. Look back between your feet, release the weight of your head, hang in space. And then imagine unscrewing your head from your neck as you look to the opposite side. Nice strong arms, weight spread forwards to the finger pads. Slowly from there, lower your knees back to the floor. Now, if you've got a block or a book or something chunky like a foam pillow in front of you, you might want to use that just to get a different experience of this pose. If you don't, it doesn't really matter. You can just bring your elbows in front of you. It's quite nice to have your elbows supported as you take them forwards onto your block. See if you can just let your face sink down, have your block width raised. Let your face just clamp now between your biceps, sink down towards the crown, towards the floor, and let your sit bones rise up towards the sky. Take the elbows a little bit further forward so you can feel a stretch into your triceps. Your forehead will be just your side of your block or your books, and you're trying to, with your fingertips in prayer, direct them upwards towards the ceiling. Imagine your heart dropping down onto the ground whilst your buttocks float like helium-filled balloons upwards towards the sky. Take some really deep breaths there and notice the effect of doing so on both your body and indeed your brain. Having stretched out your arms, shoulders, armpits and triceps, slowly release, come all the way back down, bringing your wrists once again to the ground beneath your shoulders. But turn your fingertips of both hands towards your knees. So you're looking for another stretch for your wrists, this time with your fingertips drawing towards your knees, weight bearing through the wrists, thumbs will be pointing outwards. And then imagine someone's got you by the tail and is pulling you back. You're not going to go anywhere. But just feel that stretch becoming a little bit more intense in your wrists. Try not to lock your elbows, but keep lifting your front body still towards the back. So no longer is your belly hanging out like wet washing, it's sucking up towards your spine. Now turn the fingertips of your right hand forwards, so back to what you would normally do, I suppose. Bring the back of your left hand underneath onto the floor, underneath your left shoulder, and your fingertips of your left hand are pointing towards the right, past your right wrist. Now really lift your front body to the back, but keep pressing down through both hands, right wrist, back of left wrist. Now step your right foot out to the right side of your mat, grounding your foot so that the toes of your right foot are pointing in the same direction as your right fingertips. And then you're going to slide your left arm underneath your right armpit and gently lower yourself back down onto the side of your shoulder and fist. Now, if you want more, take your right hand directly upwards towards the ceiling and imagine touching the sky with your fingertips while sucking energy through your right foot all the way up to your hip and core. You want to go further still, let your right arm now loop around the back of your waist and see if you could fish around and potentially find your inner left thigh. If you want to go one stage more, you don't have to take any of these invitations because they are just that, invitations and not mandatory. Make a fist with your left hand and place the knuckles of that fist against the indentation where your shoulder attaches to your chest. Turn your gaze, if it feels okay for your neck, towards the heavens. There in that shape, just breathe into whatever feelings are going there and imagine each time you exhale and anything that you no longer need pouring down into the ground through your crown. Now unwinding from the shape incrementally, if you decided to take that invitation to release, to bring your fist to the crease of your shoulder, then release that. Release your right hand from behind you to back on your mat, and then release your left hand and take it all the way up to the sky, taking a twist towards the left this time. And as you reach up high with the left hand to the sky, again, try to stack your shoulders, lift your gaze. Now lower your left hand back to the floor, but keep your right leg extended in line with your right hip and out at a right angle to the hip. Raise your right leg and once again, try to really switch on the leg and the foot. Exhale, bring the knee to the armpit. So just bring the knee right up to your right armpit. And then inhale, take the toenails all the way to the back of your mat to the left. Exhale, squeeze like a dog having a pee. Draw your knee right into your shoulder, your right armpit. And then inhale, take your toes all the way to the back left-hand corner of your mat. Cast your gaze over your shoulder, look back. Exhale, watch as the shoulder connects, as the knee connects with your shoulder. Inhale, watch as your toes connect with the floor. One more, exhaling, knee to shoulder. Inhale, take your toes back. Now look forwards and directly down along the ground ahead of your mat. Raise your right leg with pointed toes. Inhale. Exhale, lower your toenails back to the floor to the left of your mat. Inhale, lift. So just toning your right buttock, building strength and stability in your core and your upper body. Nice strong arms. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, lower the toes. Inhale. Exhale. One more of those. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower the toes. Now bring your left hand closer to your right so it winds up directly under your shoulder. Bring your right foot this time so it's parallel with the back of your mat. Stack your shoulders, stack your hips and come into a modification of your side plank. Reaching up with your fingertips to the sky, stacking shoulders, stacking hips. Now take your right arm up and overhead, so the supporting hand is the same one that you've been supporting along. And then inhale, take the right arm back over to the hips. So inhale, reach up and overhead, dome the side body. Exhale, bring your hand back to your hip, palm to the thigh or hip. Inhale, once again, reach up and overhead. Exhale, bring your hand to your hip. Inhale, reach up and overhead. Exhale, bring your hand to your hip. Now take your arm up and overhead, hold that position. And if you want to take on more, once again, it's an invitation you can refuse. Lift your right leg parallel to the floor and hold it there with your foot flexed. Reaching forwards with the top hand, back with the raised foot flexed. That might be as far as you go, but you might want to take one more invitation, bend your knee, grab your foot, and externally rotating the thigh bone into the hip. Turn your stretch into a bit of a heart opener, a bit of a twist, along with a stretch for your hip flexor and your thigh. Kick your foot into your palm and pull against your foot with your hand. Whether you went for the full Monty, then just coming out of it incrementally, take your right hand forwards and down, bring your right knee to the ground, separating the knee slightly wider than hip width. Take a pit stop and come into child pose just to rest and digest. Coming into a resting pose, settling your torso between your thighs and grounding your forehead. Take a little bit of time now just to inquire once again about how you're feeling at this stage in your practice. Make sure, of course, that everything that you've done has done you some kind of good. Not suggesting miracles, but maybe you're beginning to feel a little bit more focused on your body and a little bit less involved in what's going on away from your mat. So as you bring yourself once again back up to kneel, just come all the way up to kneel. And as you bring yourself all the way up to kneel, bring the back of your right hand this time underneath your wrist, fingertips of your left hand underneath your shoulder, so the back of your right hand on the floor beneath your shoulder. And then really press down your left hand and breathe steadily. Get that stretch into the back of your hand, the wrist. Now you're going to step your left foot out to the side, rounding the foot and turning the toes in the same direction as your left fingertips. And from that wrist stretch for your right arm, begin to thread the needle and come down onto the side of your shoulder, the side of your face, opposite side this time of course. Then if you went further before, lift your left hand off the floor and reach up, first of all, with your fingertips enthusiastically trying to grab whatever it is on the ceiling that you perhaps want to grab. And then take your left arm, if you went there before, around the back of your waist, fishing around with your left hand to see if you could find perhaps your inner thigh, otherwise you could find some waist or some t-shirt. Trying to bind the left hand around the thigh. Now making, if you went there earlier, a fist with the right hand and placing the knuckles of that fist against the indentation where your shoulder attaches to the left side of your chest. And just try to turn a little bit more, navel, heart and eyes if it's comfortable, if your head feels supported, your neck doesn't feel congested, look up towards the sky. Breathe once again, long deep breaths, and just be aware of what arrives and bid farewell to whatever leaves. Now releasing your fist and bringing your hand to the mat. Unlooping your left arm from the back of your waist and bringing your left hand beneath your shoulder. Extracting your right arm and just coming into your twist, stacking shoulders, lifting your gaze, trying to twist, drawing the back of your head away from the back of your heart, stretching out across your collarbones, shoulder blades, weight bearing through your standing left arm. Now bring both hands back to the ground. Take a moment or two just to stabilize through your core, spread your fingers and lift your left leg parallel to the floor with your foot flexed. Keep that position then as you bend the knee and draw the knee to your shoulder. Look over your shoulder to your left as your knee comes to the shoulder, with the knee high in line with the shoulder. And then take the toes of your left foot to the right of your mat behind you. Look over your right shoulder to see where they've landed. Then bring your gaze to watch the knee connect with the shoulder on the left side. Turn your face to watch the toes come to the right of the back of your mat. Keep going. Exhale, squeeze. Try to really skillfully place your body where you want it to go. Exhale, squeeze, knee to shoulder. Inhale, reach back. The last one, really slow. Exhale, squeeze. And then inhale, take your left foot back, look forwards and directly ahead of your fingers, keeping the neck in line with the spine. You lift your left leg as you inhale, pointed toes. Exhale, lower your foot back to where it was, to the right of the back of your mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more the same. Inhale, pointed toes. And then exhale, lower your toes to the floor. Now bring your right wrist slightly closer to your left wrist. Step your left foot to the back of your mat so it's parallel with the back edge of your mat. You're taking your second side plank, modified version of that, with your right wrist beneath your shoulder, your right knee beneath your hip. There in your side plank, reach upwards towards the heavens, long deep breaths. I think that's like before, Marianne. I don't know how, but maybe you don't. Inhale, reach up and overhead with your left arm. Exhale, bring your hand back to your hip. So stroke the sky with your fingers. Imagine painting a colourful rainbow overhead. Inhale, reach forwards. Exhale, reach back. Inhale, reach forwards. Really stretch up, dome the side ribs and raise. Exhale, mould your hand to your hip. Last one the same. Inhale deeply again. And exhale. This time, raise your left arm, palm facing down and reaching with your fingertips forwards and ahead. If you took on more before, lift your left foot flexed off the floor and hold your left leg strongly switched on. Really feel your brain going down to your navel and your navel being sucked against your spine, so stabilize through the core. If you went further, bend the knee, keep the foot flexed, grab your foot, kick your foot into your hand, and try to externally rotate your thigh bone into the hip. As you keep the foot flexed and you gently begin to stretch out the hip flexor in the thigh, keep pushing strongly down into the ground through the supporting hand. So really strengthening the wrist, weight bearing for your bones in your right wrist, right arm, as well as that hip flexor stretch and stretch for your thigh. So coming out of that one, just bring both your left hand and your left knee back to the mat to where you began. Let's just take, why not? Let's just take another child pose, just to pause for a moment to just take a reading of how you're feeling. Maybe after that weight bearing through your hands, your wrists, you might want to externally rotate your palms and your arms so that your palms face the sky and feel your shoulders soften apart. And imagine your heart shining upwards towards the heavens. Bring a little bit more pressure to bear on your forehead if you can. And just take inventory, scan your body, make sure everything feels okay. So from here, just flip your palms back to the floor, spread your fingers. Rise to kneel, tuck under your toes and lift your knees, coming into full down-facing dog pose. Your feet are hip width apart, the elbows are a little bit soft. And then alternately deeply bend the knees, palpating your mat with your feet. Keep your head still heavy as you gaze back between your heels. And once you've walked out your dog several times, just come back to stillness, come back to the midline and draw both heels towards the floor and lift your toes and spread your toes so that you can see the shadows of your toes underneath your toe pads on your mat. Notice how your kneecaps then start to lift, your thighs rise, and sharply lift the axis of your hips to the sky. Keeping the toes broadly spread, lower them back to the ground. Bend your knees and look forwards beyond the tips of your thumbs and your index fingers. And then light as a feather and engage in your core. Either bunny hop your feet between your hands, step up or hobble up and find ragdoll at the top of your mat, your standing forward bend. With your knees as generously bent as you need to, start to just consciously shift the weight forwards and back a few times between the front and the back of your feet. Again, you feel as if you're palpating your mat with your feet, but also trying to find that point when you come to stillness where you're grounding your weight evenly through the front and the back of both feet, right foot and left foot, all equally grounding your weight. Now that you've got your feet grounded, imagine sending long roots down into the earth through the balls of your big toes, little toes, and the four corners of your heels. Bend your elbows and pop the webbing of your thumbs against the elbow crease. So your forearms, like a Cossack dancer, parallel with the floor though, and then just pendulum, alternately bending your knees, your torso across the tops of your thighs. You can start to travel your arms in a sort of horseshoe shape all the way around the outer edges of your toes, but just find the range of movement that suits you. So once you've had a little play with that, just come back to stillness and let your arms hang like cooked spaghetti from your shoulders. Let your head be heavy. And again, you can bend your knees massively if you need to. One bone at a time, like a rag doll coming to life, begin to stack the vertebrae of your spine, coming all the way up as if you're stacking children's bricks. Once you've arrived, slot your shoulders over your hips and turn your palms forwards and ahead. Then begin to just float your arms out wide and just use your arms now to just gently massage your body. Your knees stay a little bit soft and you isolate this movement to above the waist. So let the arms gain momentum, and as you start to really swing those arms around, maybe they begin to swing a little higher so you don't hit anything. And then once you've had a jolly good swing of your arms, both easing into your shoulders, easing into your waist, keeping your feet grounded, slowly begin to reduce the range of movement and ultimately let your arms just come back to stillness either side of your waist. Now send a little bit of energy from your shoulders to your fingertips, palms facing forwards and ahead. Spread your fingers like two starfish attached to your wrists, and then inhale and imagine your fingers painting a big arc of light above where you're standing. As you bring your hands to prayer, on the exhale, let your shoulders soften away from your ears. And on the inhale, imagine painting an arc with your fingertips across the sky. As you begin to get a nice back bend, keep lifting out of your lower back. Stretch out the fibers of your front belly, hip flexors and thighs again. Upon the exhale, with your hands in prayer, cave your belly, hinge at the hip crease, and revisit your standing forward bend. Inhale, partway lift. As you exhale, slowly take the left foot back and lower your left knee to the floor. Raise your arms and frame your ears as you reach up towards the heavens with the fingertips. Push firmly into that front foot as you rise. As you exhale, try to draw your elbows towards one another behind your shoulder blade tips. As you inhale, reach up to the sky. On the exhale, squeeze elbows to kidneys. Inhale, reach up high. Exhaling, squeeze elbows to kidney wings. Inhale, reach high. Last one of these, exhale, squeeze. And then inhale, reach high to the sky. Bring your right arm down by your side ribs in your waist. Right arm, and reach with your fingertips towards the ground. Try to lean over towards the right a little bit more, pouring your fingertips of your left hand towards the floor and stretching out your side ribs, waist, hip flexor and thigh. So right arm, the one that's attached to your right shoulder, Tina, and down there by your right hip, which is attached to your right side of your body, I guess. Breathe steady into that shape. Now take your left elbow to the side of your right knee. You're right, Mackie. Bring your hands to prayer with your thumbs against your breastbone. Press your palms together. Take a deep hit of breath. Fill your belly, fill your chest. And as you squeeze out the breath, try to draw your thigh bone of your right leg back into the hip. Now you might want to stay there. It's already a nice twist anyway. But for those of you that want to take the invitation and do a little bit more, with the toes of your back foot tucked under and trying to avoid gaining height, lift your left knee off the floor and push back through the heel. Lift the shin and the inner thigh to the sky. You don't have to go further, just right where you are. It's your practice, don't forget. And then slowly, if you did lift the knee, descend it. And with your hands still in prayer, inhale and reach upwards towards the heavens with your fingertips. Take another crescent lunge, opening up the front of your body, stretching out your left hip flexor, your left thigh. Now reach out wide, paint another rainbow. Bring your hands to shoulder width on your mat. Lift your back knee and turn your left foot to approximately 45 degrees, but more importantly, make sure that your hips are aligned. Take your fingertips on the reverse route to warrior one. In other words, take them down the back of your mat, up the wall that's behind you, transferring as you go, more weight into your back foot. Make sure the back heel's grounded, the hips are aligned for warrior one. Lift your crown, lift your heart, lift your face towards the sky. There in warrior one, reaching for the heavens with your fingertips, try to heavily weight your tail and equally ground your weight through both of your feet. That might be where you want to stay, but if you fancy trying a balance today, I'm not sure how I'm going to get on with that table in the way, but have a little go with warrior three. If you want to, you grab hold of the table, back of the chair, mantelpiece, and take your warrior three like that. Of course, if you haven't got a table conveniently close by and you're okay anyway, then take your warrior three and channel your inner superhero as you float in space. Try to really lengthen between your crown and tail, your armpits and hips, and internally rotate the lifted left leg into the hip. From your warrior three balance, bend your right knee, ground your back foot, and revisit warrior one, somewhat triumphant warrior one if you successfully manage to balance, and then open out into warrior two, looking out in front of you. I'll change sides so that I keep an eye on you, and as you come into warrior two, heavily weight your tail, bend that right knee so it's right over the heel, and it's slightly more tracking towards the smaller toes. You've got an upright spine and your tailbone heavily weighted. Bend your elbows so that your arms look like rugby posts. Squeeze together your shoulder blades and fan out your fingers. Now you're going to hug your elbows, forearms and palms together in front of your chest. And multitasking, because we can, try to imagine drawing your heels together. So puckering up the mat between your heels. Inhale, open the arms, really open the chest. Exhale, imagine pulling the heels together. Pull the belly to the spine, bring your elbows in front of your heart, forearms, palms to prayer. Inhale, open up the window to your chest. Exhale, drag the heels together, arms together. Imagine that the air has taken on a thick quality and there's a certain amount of resistance against the arms as they open and close. Do a few more of those, inhaling. And exhale, squeeze. Imagine drawing the heels and puckering up the mat between them. One more, inhale. And exhale, squeeze. Now take your arms back out and then go working still in warrior two with warrior two legs. Exhale and direction your fingertips to the floor, keeping your arms in line with your shoulders. So you're just working the shoulders. Inhale, turn your fingertips towards the sky. Exhale, turn your fingertips to the floor. Nice strong arms, deepen the bend in the right knee. Inhale, raise your fingertips to the sky, heavy tail. Exhale and inhale. And then come back to your warrior two, and this time have both hands so that the palms are facing the two opposite walls of the room or wherever you're practicing. And just imagine you're busting out of your box, fingertips are pointing to the sky, and try to really push away against that invisible force field again. Your right hand, your left hand, heavy tail, strong, strong legs, steady breath. Now relax your wrists, inhale and reverse your warrior, left hand on your left thigh. In slow motion, cartwheel your hands down to the ground to frame your front foot. Spin on your back foot, set the heel within the frame of your left hip. Bring your hands flat to the floor and then slowly slip your right leg all the way past your hip, past your left leg, up towards the sky. Take a split dog, shooting for the heavens with your toes, and then float forwards, slowly taking yourself into plank, lowering your knees, lifting your bum, hovering your heart between your thumbs, take cobra, supported cobra with shoulders drawn back and peering down to the tip of your nose. Chin to chest, cave the belly, partway take the seat to the heels. You might stay in child or lift your knees and take downward facing dog, whatever suits you best. Now take some long deep breaths in your chosen resting pose. Maybe counting to 6 as you breathe in and replicating that count as you breathe out. Breathing in for 6 seconds and breathing out for 6 seconds. If you've selected to come into child pose, you don't have to join in until you're ready to. Those of you that are ready, however, move on. Pick up your left foot, bring the knee into the chest, Place the left foot between your hands and lower your right knee for your runner's lunge. As you come into that kneeling lunge, once again, raise your fingertips, led by the tips of your thumbs, upwards towards the ceiling. Heavily weight the tail. Lift your gaze a little higher up the wall ahead. And then exhale, draw your elbows once again towards each other, behind your back. Inhale, reach up high to the sky. Exhale, spread out the fingers, dome your palms, squeeze. Inhale. Exhaling, feel your heart move forwards. Inhale, reach your fingertips. One more the same, exhaling and inhaling. Now lower your left arm alongside your ribs to your left waist. Reach with your left fingertips to the floor, frame the side of your face with your right arm, and as you try to reach down to the ground with your left fingertips, try to avoid collapsing forwards. You're looking for a side stretch through the right side of your ribs, waist, right hip flexor, right thigh. From that side stretch, bring your elbow lightly to hook against the side of the knee or the thigh. Bring your hands to prayer in front of the heart center. Press your palms together, take a deep breath in, and draw that top shoulder back, and the elbow, that's just tracking towards your left outer hip. If you took the invitation for more before, make sure that you apply the same technique here, lifting your back knee, pushing back through your right heel, and stabilizing through your core. See if you can rotate energy up the spine, steering your right torso towards your inner thigh. When you're ready, if you picked up the knee, lower it down with the exhalation, and everyone rejoin each other in your kneeling lunge, lifting your breastbone, lifting your gaze without throwing your head back. Keep the back of your neck nice and long. As you exhale, rainbow the hands down to the mat. And as you pick up the back knee and turn the back foot to about 45 degrees, again, you're heading for warrior one, so make sure you're trying to work to square those hips. Let your fingertips travel the reverse journey to warrior one again as you inhale. Take weight back into the right foot as you go. And there in warrior one, lift your gaze. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Ground both feet firmly into the mat. Focus on what feelings and sensations are there. And if you decided that you really couldn't resist, floating into your superhero warrior three, then just shift forwards onto your left foot with a micro bend in the standing knee. Internally rotating the right thigh, and then just flying like your superhero through the sky. Find your center of balance, your center of gravity. Once you've had a play with warrior three, step elegantly back and revisit warrior one while I change sides. And then open out into warrior two, looking directly out in front of you. You heel toe back foot a little bit further back, opening the hips and stretching out between your heart center and your fingertips. Continue to breathe slowly and steadily. Once again, bend your elbows and pocket together the flesh between the shoulder blades. Continue to breathe slowly and steadily as you exhale. Imagine that the air has once again taken on that resisting quality as you draw your elbows and forearms together, palms to prayer. Inhale, open up the heart. At the same time you're bringing your arms together, try to imagine you're dragging your heels towards each other. Feel that in your inner groins, toning your inner thighs. Exhale again, squeeze. And inhale, nice strong arms. Last one the same, exhaling again. And inhale. As you exhale, turn your fingertips to the floor, toning the upper arms, shoulders. Inhale, open the heart and hips. Exhaling. And inhale. Last one the same, exhaling. And inhale. And then bust out of your box, fingertips pointing forwards, both hands pushing in those two polar opposite directions, sinking your tail, knees tracking towards your little toe, over the heel where it's safe. Relax your wrists, inhale and reverse your warrior. Right hand on your back thigh, left arm framing your face. The slow motion cartwheel now as you windmill send your hands back to the ground to bring them to shoulder width apart. spin on your back foot, float your left leg all the way up to the sky, split the dog, squish down the right heel, float forwards, 3-legged plank, then lower the foot, knees, chest, chin, or low plank, baby cobra or upward facing dog, and then reverse back onto your heels and come to kneel, unless you're a happy feeling, or you need to prop yourself up with something between your thighs and your knees to give you more space in the knees, or something on your heels to give you a little bit more support. Make a fist with your left hand and pop that fist into the palm of your right hand. Then wedge your fist right up into the lowest portion of your belly. Try to imagine that you've got a nice ball here that you're trying to accommodate right up in your abdominal cavity. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale and you begin to fold forwards, remember it's folding forwards rather than down, feel your fist beginning to massage your abdominal cavity. Try not to let the existence of your fist right there in your belly interfere with your ability to breathe deeply. Continue to try to project your breath into your belly, into your side ribs, into your upper back. And as you exhale, and all of the breath departs, feel as if your fist is excavating even more deeply into your belly, massaging your vital organ. As you tuck your chin into the cradle of your collarbones and just make your way slowly up through the spine, one vertebra at a time, come back to heel. And then pop your sitting bones to one side or the other, it doesn't matter which, of your heels. Outstretch both of your legs, and as you come to shuffle your bum so it's slightly forwards towards the front of your mat, bend your knees and wrap your hands around the backs of your thighs. Now that you've got your sit bones bearing your weight, try to lift your breastbone. As you squeeze together your inner thighs, come into your supported boat pose, Navasana, and keep your shoulders relaxed, heart lifted, no facial muscles involved. Take your arms forwards if you want more. Exhale and take a low boat. Inhale, take a high boat. Exhale, low boat. Inhale, high boat, keep going. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale, exhaling, and then inhale, rise. Let your feet drop just in front of your hips. Cave your belly, wrap your hands around your elbows as you cradle your knees in your forearms. And come into a little balance, a little cosmic head, bowing your head. With your hands on your elbows, try to traction the shoulder blades apart. With the weight of your head heavy, try to stretch out your neck. And your breath steady, leading you on an introspective journey into that world of yours beneath your skin. Now lower your feet and try to keep your heels as close to your bum as you can. Use your left arm to wrap all the way around both of your legs, coming into a seated twist. Take a big sweeping cartwheel with the right hand, like a windmill sail. Take it all the way to behind you and turn the fingertips of your hand towards the opposite side of your mat. With your feet grounded, take a deep breath in and feel as if you're being pulled up by the hair follicles on the crown of your head. Slowly exhale, and as you twist, try to keep hugging your thighs to your belly and your belly to your spine. And in that contained little twist, as you continue to massage the abdominal cavity, imagine one breath at a time climbing up the spinal staircase, all the way to your crown. Very slowly from there, unwind, start with the face and let the rest of your body follow, and then scoop up both legs with your right arm. Windmill sail your left hand behind you, get a lot of space before placing your hand on the floor with the fingertips pointing in the opposite direction again. And as you inhale, push down through your feet, feel that rebound energy ascending your spine. And as you exhale, again, try to keep that secure feeling of drawing the thighs to your belly and drawing your belly to your spine. Keep breathing slowly, smoothly, into your body through the nose, and listen to the sound of your breath echoing in the chamber of your throat. As your face leaves and the rest of your body follows, come back to face forwards and take one more boat pose. You can either use your hands again underneath your thighs and just have your shins parallel to the floor. You could stretch out your hamstrings and bring your feet, spreading your toes higher. You could bring your arms forwards and frame your thighs. Wherever your boat pose is, make sure that you're lifting your heart, squeezing together your legs, and your face is still relaxed. Another little cosmic head, bow your head. Once you've lowered your feet, you've already been asked to shuffle forwards, but if you haven't got enough space upon which to lie on your mat without cracking your head on something, then shuffle forward some more. If you've got a block or a firm cushion or a couple of chunky books, then grab those and slowly bring yourself down onto your spine. Once you've got there and you've grabbed whatever support you may or may not have to place underneath your pelvis, just take a moment or two just to pause in this constructive resting pose, with heels beneath the knees and feet slightly pigeon-toed. Bend the knees and make sure you're making perfect footprints with both feet. Externally rotate the arms and reach your fingertips towards your outer ankle bones. Feel, as you inhale, your shoulders melting away from your ears and the back of your head drawing away from the heart. Having taken a few breaths, just lying in that constructive resting pose, once again turn your palms to face the floor. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, squeeze your navel to your kidneys. Begin to slowly peel your tailbone and tilt your pelvis and rise up through the vertebrae of your spine onto your shoulders. When you arrive, inhale and take your arms all the way up and overhead to frame your ears as they land on the floor. Now exhale everything, every last drop of breath remaining in your bridge, and feel your navel draw back to your kidneys, your pelvic floor, lift to your heart. Now don't breathe in, but maintain that contraction of your deep core as you iron the vertebrae of your spine back down one bone at a time until it lands on your tail. When you land, deeply inhale, fill your belly, then your chest. Then as you exhale, peel your head and shoulders off the floor, float your arms forwards in space and frame the sides of your thighs with your inner wrists. As you rise, peer up between the knees. Now inhale and take your dome off the mat. As you exhale, lift your tail and bring your hands back to the floor beneath your hips, reaching with your fingers, and you're in that bridge again, back on your shoulders. As you inhale, again, float the arms up and overhead to frame your ears. High on the brackets of your shoulders, exhale everything. And again, consciously activate the deep pelvic floor muscles and the transverse abdominals deep in your belly. With that corset of steel activated, keep it activated and don't breathe in, but without taking a breath, just come all the way down onto the ground, one bone at a time. When you land, now inhale and bloat your belly and chest. As you exhale, one more lifting up of your head, neck and shoulder blades from the floor and peering between the valley of your knees, keep the neck long. As you inhale, take your arms back overhead and recline. And as you exhale, keep your spine on the floor and float your hands across the ceiling to arrive them back by your hips. Now grab your block, your cushion, your bolster, your chunky pile of books, and lift your pelvis and place those blocks or books on a relatively low setting so that they're underneath your sacrum. So a relatively low setting so that then you can slide your right leg forwards, straightening your right leg, your left leg forwards, straightening your left leg. And just with your kidneys, your lower back, you can just set your arm underneath, just to check you've got that little bit of air circulating underneath your waist. Come into pontoon pose. And you can either externally rotate the arms and have your palms facing the ceiling. Subtly externally rotate the thighs and let the little toe sides of your feet just flop out towards the floor. Or you could take your arms up and overhead and framing the back of your head with your forearms Gather your elbow points into your palms. Wherever you are, take a deep breath in now and fill yourself to the top. And right at the top of that full inhalation, pause and hold your breath and count silently to 3 in your brain. And then exhale in 3 equal parts from your collarbones to your sternum and pause. Your sternum to your navel and pause. And finally exhale the third portion of the breath from the navel to the pubic bone. And as your belly caves, pause on empty and count slowly to 3 again. Let the in-breath rush in and fill you to the brim, all the way to the top. Hold your breath, feel your belly bloating up to the sky and count to 3 in your mind. In 3 equal parts again, from your collarbones to your sternum, exhale. Briefly pause and exhale from your sternum to your navel. Pause briefly and exhale, emptying from your navel to your pubic bone. And when you feel those core muscles strongly engaged, pause on empty for 3 slow counts of your brain. Now inhale fully and completely again, but without breath retention and without breath intervention, exhale slowly and smoothly through the nose. Come back to your slow, steady, spontaneous breath without affecting your will on your breath. And then slowly raise the arms back overhead. Release your hands from your elbows and pop your hands down by your sides. Rebend your knees and place your heels beneath them. Lift your pelvis and slide your prop out to one side. Count down the vertebrae, one bone at a time, to land on your tailbone. Just slowly roll from side to side over your feet a few times. Windscreen wipe the legs from right to left, left to right. And once you've worked evenly to both sides, come back to the midline. Once again, slide your right foot and your left foot down towards the 2 front corners of your mat to arrive lying flat and to prepare yourself to come to Shavasana. Make sure you're not going to lose heat and that your body feels supported by any props that you've got. Once you feel comfortable, just try to ascertain whether there's anything else you need. In your brain, just picture the perfect outline of your body symmetrically lying on the mat. Feel the weight of your body evenly grounding the front of your body, melting into the back. Allow everything to be just as it is. Steady breath, still body, a centered state of mind. Nowhere to go, nothing to do or to be, just to fully show up for yourself. To be present to the feelings in your body and associated feelings as you inhale and as you exhale. Gradually, little by little, sense your body sinking deeper and deeper down into the ground. Sense your body becoming increasingly heavy, as if someone's filled your body with cement. Heavy head, heavy shoulders, heavy arms, heavy torso, heavy legs. Your body feels so heavy, you couldn't move a muscle if you tried. Continue to simply observe the movement of your breath. Notice any subtle signals arriving at your brain through your nervous system. And if there are any parts of your body that still feel tense, that still don't feel quite as relaxed as you might like, spend a little bit of time now just deliberately focusing on those parts of your body, sending breath there with your brain. gradually begin to bring your awareness back into the room or the location where you're resting. Feel the weight of your body sinking into the ground, the front of your body rising and falling as you breathe. Slowly begin to reintroduce movement back into your body. Start by brushing the tips of your thumbs across the tips of your 4 fingers. Start to wriggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, rotate your wrists, your ankles. Maybe take a long deep stretch when you feel ready, framing your ears with your arms and pointing your toes. Eventually bend the knees and wrap your arms around your shins to come into little fetal shape. Pause and let the weight of your back body sink down to the ground. A little bit more with the weight of your thighs bearing down. Finally, just roll over onto one side. And as you rest there peacefully, breathing like a newborn baby into your belly, take another appraisal of how you're feeling. Without judging, just simply observe how you feel now compared to how you felt when you began. Resolve to accept yourself wherever you find yourself to be. As you slowly make your way up to sit, quietly cross-legged with closed eyes, ending the practice as we began. Only when you arrive, just change the way that you've crossed your legs so that you break the habit we all have of favouring placing the same shin in front all the time. Ground through your sitting bones, pull up tall through the spine, and melt your shoulders softly away from your ears. With your eyes closed, and a trace of a frown on your brow, bring your hands home in front of the heart centre. In your own way, privately or personally, look into your heart today and lift whoever it is, whatever situation you find. Offering you all a nice day.